Hello everyone. Welcome to She Showed Up. Today we have with us Dr. Pooja Dingra. Hi Pooja, welcome to She Showed Up.
Hi, Sony. Thank you so much for having me here with you.
So Pooja, you came out of an abusive domestic violence marriage after having your hand broken. In retrospect, what is something you wish you had done differently?
Well, so this I keep asking myself, and the only answer that I get is I wish I would have listened to myself because we women are really blessed with that instinct. It's a superpower that we are blessed with, and we do see those things which we know somewhere that this is not something how things should be. So I think we just tend to overlook it, and I really wish, and I just somehow lament over the fact that I should have listened to my own self. I should have stopped it then and there. जिस दिन पहली बार हाथ उठा, जिस दिन पहली बार आवाज उठी, I should have stopped it then and there. And I really I think it costed me my arm, which is like 40% disabled at the moment. And this is what I really regret.
Yeah, I know. When it comes to marriage and keeping the family together, we do tend to compromise a lot, and at some point of time we have to say no, that's enough. So I definitely think that we should listen to our gut feeling or that intuition that we get. So our society, it claims to be very progressive, but even today a woman has to go through speculations and judgments when she becomes single. So how did you pull yourself up and face it?
So it was very difficult for me also because that acceptance, it just comes very late in your life. When the thing which was very difficult for me initially was to accept that this marriage is over. And by the time this acceptance came to me, the other thought was, what am I going to tell to others? And in that, others was not somebody who was, the society, what we say, it was my immediate family, my relatives, my extended family members. What would they ask that why are you back here? Where is your husband? What would I tell them? So it took me quite a lot of time. And then slowly and steadily, I was coming to terms with the fact that do I really want to go by what people think? Have I ever been that woman? So, I had to work a lot on my own thinking in the first place. And then I had to just let people say what they had to. In fact, when I was looking for jobs for myself, I'll just share a small incident with you. 2-3 interviews I had given, and to my surprise, things went well in the first 15-20 minutes. And the one question which was quite common in all those interviews was, what is your marital status? I said, and that was again a question mark. What should I tell them? So I said, okay, I'm married but not staying with my husband. And that was the turning point of my job. And then okay, we'll get back to you. So this was something which I had to really was somewhere a challenge for me in these initial months. And then I think I had to work on my own mindset first. And then I was like, okay, I really don't care what others think. If my marital status is a problem, then I think I should change the people whom I am surrounded by. And if my parents don't have a problem with it, I really don't care. So I changed my people. I changed everything around me. And it all started with my own mindset first. That's how I started to look at my separation, my coming back, and eventually I'm all comfortable speaking out, being very vocal about it.
That's great. It's like when you find yourself, you find new strength to face everyone. Now, during your marriage, you were not working and you're kind of dependent on your husband, and somewhere down the line during our conversations I understood that you lost your identity in the marriage. So now when you think about it, what is the importance of maintaining your identity in the marriage to you right now?
Well, it's very important, and this is something which I cannot right now. I really think, and this is what I tell every woman that I meet, every girl that I meet, that never lose your identity, never lose yourself in any relationship. I was dependent on my father initially. Then I got married. I was dependent on him. But somehow in that abusive marriage also, my father was equally helping me with my finances. So I was never working. And when I was in that marriage, and when we talk about that identity, it's altogether a very different person you come in association with. Like, you are taking care of your family. For you come at the last. You're not the priority. And suddenly this new family you go into, they are the priority. You have to cater to their needs. And eventually what I saw was that where is this Pooja who used to be very particular about her things? She used to eat on time. I started gaining weight. And this is what I had seen from my own lived experience, that when women are exposed to a lot of stress, and and eventually what happens is you stop taking care of yourself and you prioritize all these people, all these jokers around you. So you lose yourself in that entire process. You start gaining weight, and that is where the problem starts to happen, and your self-worth goes down. You lose confidence. You just become a different person. Financially also, when you're dependent, you just can't take your own decision, and that somehow creates another version of you which just comes up, which is just born out of nowhere. So this was something which was very difficult for me to manage, and it took me like good 3 years to understand what is it that I did. And when I see that old Pooja, trust me, Sony, even today I have tears when I think about that girl, that lady who transitioned from into a new chapter of her life. And I would never want to be that lady again. I feel that there was another woman living inside me, and it just gives me goosebumps. Like, what was that? What was that actually?
Yeah, true. I mean, toxicity is not just physical. A lot of relationships have become mentally toxic also. So when you were going through that mental trauma also, and you tend to forget your own true worth, like losing your identity, then how do you identify such situations where it's not the physical but the mental toxicity that is harming you? Because outside everything seems rosy, everything seems wonderful, but somewhere you lose yourself. So what do you have to say for that?
My God, I still remember. The worst phase is when you start doubting your own sanity. Because when you enter into a toxic relationship in the initial phases, it's all portrayed as love. And what I feel from my own mistakes was that, one has to be very self-aware. And that self-awareness again comes from conditioning, comes from the environment you are in. And when I see and when I look back, when I see and I hear stories also, these toxic partners, they're the most dangerous people anyone can ever encounter in their life. Your self-worth, your identity, your esteem, they just crush it. And it's so difficult for you to, get back to your original self. You have to recreate your own self. And the most dangerous part here is that, what it does to your mental health. Because when you go into that zone wherein the other person is controlling you, he knows when you will react, how you will react. And that reaction is again used against you. That, oh, look at you, what you're doing. I never said that. And the other person gets so irritable. You just get so irritated, like, what is happening to me? You just get stuck in that loop. I was never like that. And then there is another battle that you're fighting. One is with your own belief system, what you used to believe, your mindset, and what is the current situation scenario that is being projected right in front of you. So that battle, the partner, the lady, the man, whosoever the person is, they start fighting that battle with themselves. And it's the most dangerous thing that can happen to anybody. That, the rosy things, the abuse, the toxicity, the gaslighting which we use, being projected and disguised as, oh, this is love. You're just being very, ignorant towards what I'm giving you, what I'm providing you. And then the scenario somehow changes. You're being manipulated and you don't realize what is happening to you. And in this entire process, what happens? You lose yourself.
Yeah. So it is very important, as you said, to be self-aware and to know your priorities, what is good for you, what are your boundaries. Until and unless you know that, you won't be able to set the boundaries.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Now you recently launched your book and you've accomplished a lot since then. Tell us something about that.
It had been a very long journey for me, for a woman who was prepared. I am a housewife. I want to be with my husband, madly in love with that guy. And, I have to take care of him. And I was not, I would say I was not very ashamed of being called as a homemaker. I was like, okay, this is something which I chose to do. And I was happy about it. But in the entire process, I was like, somewhere I was being lost, and suddenly life had some other plans for me. So then I was like, okay, I don't want to just, give up. And then my health was deteriorating. My I had a nerve surgery also last year. So it was very difficult for me to understand what am I supposed to do. But then, because I was more aware, I took help. I spoke to my friends. I had very selective friends, and in this entire process, there's one thing that really helped me was, which I keep telling everybody, that always follow what your inner voice is telling you. We have that voice which constantly tries to tell us something. We should listen to it, and the mind and the body should somewhere sync. And then I tried. I studied further, and I continued with my nutrition course I had opted for, because I was very fascinated by nutrition, and coming from a dental background, transitioning into public health. I always had this in my mind that I want people to get off conventional medicines. Like, why are we going and relying on medicines for everything? So that was always there in my mind. So I studied nutrition. Then I started when all of this happened. So I was being manipulated a lot, and I know what had happened to my own confidence, body shamed, and all of that was there. So I studied. I went into life coaching. I started meeting people who were like, the universe aligns everything for you when it's the right time. So I did my certification in my life coaching, NLP also. Then I worked a lot on myself. I used to listen, and then I thought, okay, when I studied nutrition, and when I was again with some of my great mentors, I realized that really healthy from here, and what you feed here eventually is shown in your body. And understanding how these emotions work, how the thought process works on your body, your hormones, I decided to write something for the women folk, because I was giving free therapy sessions, counseling sessions to a lot of women. I was listening to them, and in that entire process I thought, okay, let me just create something for somebody they can refer to, and they can understand what is happening in their body. Because when you are in such an environment, a toxic environment, be it with your parents, be it with your spouse, be it in your office, wherever, your body starts giving you signals, you fall sick. And then women being very casual about their health, we don't understand the emotions. We just think that, okay, we're just overthinking. So I thought, okay, let me create something for them so that they go back and they understand, and they don't need a doctor at any point of time. Because I don't like going to doctors, popping in pills. Okay, I'm on antidepressants, I'm having anxiety. So I just wanted to create a manual for the women folk, that please understand. आप समझो आपकी body में क्या हो रहा है, आपके mind आपको क्या बोल रहा है, and by the time you'll understand it, you will also try to question what is happening around you. So this is how the book came into picture, from my own lived experience, and it's there right there. And then I launched my company because I wanted to be financially independent. I did not want to be dependent on my father, because I can't work right now. Because of my hand, I'm undergoing my rehab, and I thought, what should I do? मेरे को घर पे भी रहना है, मुझे कुछ करना भी है. So I don't like sitting idle. So I thought, okay, let me just do something in the wellness sector. So I launched my company, Leaf and Lore, and this was how this entire concept and the idea came into existence. Like, okay, let's do and let's try again.
That's really,
I tried.
That's great. And as you rightly said, when you take the first step, the universe works to align everything to work for you. But it's that first step that we have to take.
Yes. The action has to come. So we work on the AAA model, awareness is definitely there. The acceptance has to be there. And then once you are aware, once you've accepted, okay, this has happened, the third is the action. Because unless and until you walk, you take a step towards your goal, whatever you've thought, nothing will change. And things do change. Change is the only constant, and your circumstances will push you to change everything. Ma'am, this is a lived example that I'm telling you.
Very true. And you should surround yourself also with positive people and who uplift you rather than bringing you down.
Absolutely.
So, during all this time, who showed up for you when you needed it the most?
I think I had very selective friends. And in this entire process, I was also seeing how people were looking at me. Of course, society and their judgments will definitely be there. But I was constantly, observing people around. But usme se bhi, they were very selective people. My 2 or 3 friends were there. And my parents were constantly there with me. More importantly, my father, I would say. So he was like, "You try again," and he was very. I remember he was very. He was always emphasizing on the fact that बेटा ठीक है, कुछ नहीं करना है मत कर, मैं तुझे कुछ नहीं कह रहा हूँ, अपनी health. So he was constantly, motivating me कि बेटा health comes first, then only you can fight the battle. भी लंबी लड़ाई है, हम तेरे साथ हैं, तू चिंता मत. But take care of your health. So he was always there with me.
So, one advice that you would like to give all the women, especially girls who are going into marriage or women who are into a turbulent marriage, what is that advice that you would like to give them?
So, in the first place, never be impulsive when you take decisions. Impulsive होके शादी के लिए relationship में जाने के लिए हाँ मत बोलना. और अगर बाहर भी निकलना है, just take your own time and space. Communication is something I always believe that, when you talk to each other, you can always find a solution to any problem. Any problem. You can discuss it, talk it out, and you can find out. But the moment you are the only person who is doing everything in the relationship, at the cost of your self-respect, at the cost of your integrity and dignity, please, you will get the answer by yourself. Walk out and be financially independent. These are the two things, non-negotiables. Please do not compromise on your self-respect at any cost. Do try till the time the efforts are being put from both the ends. But if you are the only person who's putting in all the efforts, I'm sorry, this is not how relationships work. So this is what I would want to tell every girl. You are worthy of love and respect. So don't think that, he's just giving you the bare minimum and that is the all. No, you are worthy, and never shy away from expressing and telling what you want in a relationship. Talk it out, and if it's not working, walk out with your head held. I do not want any girl to just be beaten around, being abused, they're crying. No, we're not doing that. We are not doing that. I always tell the women and the girls I know, walk out.
Yeah, beautiful message. And we should always keep our heads held up high.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
Thank you so much, Pooja. It was lovely talking to you, and thank you for
Likewise.
sharing
Thank
your
you.
experience and how you've come so far. So that's really amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me here and for a beautiful conversation. It was lovely having this conversation.